Fernando II de Aragón, called the Catholic, was King of Sicily from 1468 and King of Aragon from 1479 until his death. As a consequence of his marriage to Isabella I, he was King of Castile jure uxoris as Ferdinand V from 1474 until her death in 1504. He was recognized as regent of Castile for his daughter and heir, Joanna, from 1508 until his own death. In 1504, after a war with France, he became King of Naples as Ferdinand III, reuniting Naples with Sicily permanently and for the first time since 1458. In 1512, he became King of Navarre by conquest. Ferdinand is today best known for his role in inaugurating the rediscovery of the New World, since he and Isabella sponsored the first voyage of Christopher Columbus, Indiana, 1492. That year he also fought the final war with Granada, which expunged the last Islamic state on Iberian soil, thus bringing to a close the centuries-long reconquista. At his death he was succeeded by Joanna, who co-ruled with her son, Charles V, over all the Iberian kingdoms save Portugal. Biography. Acquiring titles and powers. Ferdinand was born in Sade Palace, Esos del Rey Católico, Kingdom of Aragon, as the son of John II of Aragon by his second wife, Juana Enriquez. He married Infanta Isabella, the half-sister and heiress of Henry IV of Castile, on the 19th of October 1469 in Valladolid, Kingdom of Castile and Leon. Isabella also belonged to the royal house of Trastamara, and the two were cousins by descent from John I of Castile. They were married with a clear prenuptial agreement on sharing power, and under the joint motto, Tanto Monte, Monte Tanto. Quote, he became jure uxoris King of Castile when Isabella succeeded her deceased brother in 1474 to be crowned as Queen Isabella I of Castile. The two young monarchs were initially obliged to fight a civil war against Joan of Castile, the purported daughter of Henry IV, and were swiftly successful. When Ferdinand succeeded his father as King of Aragon in 1479, the Crown of Castile and the various territories of the Crown of Aragon were united in a personal union. For the first time since the 8th century, this union created a single political unit referred to as España, the root of which is the ancient name Hispania. The various states were not formally administered as a single unit but as separate political units under the same crown. The first years of Ferdinand and Isabella's joint rule saw the Spanish conquest of the Nasrid dynasty of the Emirate of Granada, the last Islamic Al-Andalus entity on the Iberian Peninsula, completed in 1492. The completion of the Reconquista was not the only significant act performed by Ferdinand and Isabella in that year. In March 1492, the monarchs issued the Edict of Expulsion of the Jews, also called the Alhambra Decree, a document which ordered all Jews either to be baptized and convert to Christianity or to leave the country. That document was signed with the defeated Moorish Emir of Granada Muhammad XII, who had bargained for the Muslims of Spain to be left alone. It allowed Mudaya Moors and Converso Marrano Jews to stay, while expelling all unconverted Jews from Castile and Aragon. 1492 was also the year in which the monarchs commissioned Christopher Columbus to find a westward maritime route for access to Asia, which resulted in the Spanish arrival in the Americas. In 1494, the Treaty of Tordesillas divided the entire world beyond Europe between Portugal and Castile for conquest and dominion purposes by a north-south line drawn down the Atlantic Ocean. Forced conversions. Ferdinand violated the 1492 Alhambra Decree peace treaty in 1502 by dismissing the clearly guaranteed religious freedom for Madhya Muslims. Ferdinand forced all Muslims in Castile and Aragon to convert converso moriscos to Catholicism, or else be expelled. Some of the Muslims who remained were Madhya artisans, who could design and build in the Moorish style. This was also practiced by the Spanish inquisitors on the converso marrano Jewish population of Spain. The main architect behind the Spanish Inquisition was King Ferdinand II, whom was ironically of converso heritage. Ferdinand destroyed over 10,000 Arabic manuscripts in Granada alone, burning them. The latter part of Ferdinand's life was largely taken up with disputes with successive kings of France over control of Italy, the so-called Italian Wars. In 1494, Charles VIII of France invaded Italy and expelled Alfonso II, who was Ferdinand's first cousin once removed and stepson of Ferdinand's sister, from the throne of Naples. Ferdinand allied with various Italian princes and with Emperor Maximilian I to expel the French by 1496 and install Alfonso's son, Ferdinand, on the Neapolitan throne. In 1501, following the death of Ferdinand II of Naples and accession of his uncle Frederick, Ferdinand signed an agreement with Charles VIII's successor, Louis XII, who had just successfully asserted his claims to the Duchy of Milan, to partition Naples between them, with Campania and the Abruzzi, including Naples itself, going to the French and Ferdinand taking Apulia and Calabria. The agreement soon fell apart and, over the next several years, Ferdinand's great general Gonzalo Fernandez de Córdoba fought to take Naples from the French, finally succeeding by 1504. After Isabella I's death in 1504, her kingdom went to the daughter Joanna. Ferdinand II served as the latter's regent during her absence in the Netherlands, ruled by her husband Archduke Philip. Ferdinand attempted to retain the regency permanently, but was rebuffed by the Castilian nobility and replaced with Joanna's husband, who became Philip I of Castile. After Philip's death in 1506, with Joanna supposedly mentally unstable, and her and Philip's son, the future Emperor Charles V, only 6 years old, Ferdinand resumed the regency, ruling through Francisco Jiménez de Cisneros, the Chancellor of the kingdom. Charles I became the King of Aragon in 1516, with his mother Joanna as queen in name. Upon Ferdinand's death, Ferdinand disagreed with the policies and foreignness of Philip I. Ferdinand remarried to Germaine of Foix on October 19, 1505 in Blois, Kingdom of France, the granddaughter of his half-sister Queen Eleanor of Navarre and niece of Louis XII of France. His hope to father a new heir of Aragon, separating it from Castile, was not realized. It would have denied his son-in-law Philip I and his grandson Charles I from inheriting the crown and governance of Aragon. A son, John, Prince of Girona, was born on May 3, 1509, but died within hours. John was buried in the convent of St. Paul in Valladolid, Kingdom of Castile and Leon, and later transferred to Poblet Monastery, Vimbo de I Poblet, Catalonia, Kingdom of Aragon, traditional burial site of the kings of Aragon. Ferdinand also had children from his mistress, Aldonza Ruiz de Ibre y Almani of Cervera. He had a son, Alonso de Aragon, who later became Archbishop of Saragossa, and a daughter, Joanna, who married Bernardino Fernandez de Velasco. first Duke of Frias. In the 16th century his son Alonso de Aragon found a hidden study under Ferdinand's palace containing over 400 documents written by Ferdinand. In these documents Ferdinand explained his general outlook on political power, and his true goals behind all his decisions during life as the King of Castile and Aragon. Also through these documents, Ferdinand wrote that, during times of very complicated decision-making he blindfolded himself to concentrate on the true matter of a situation, and not let other things cloud his judgment. In 1508 war resumed in Italy, this time against the Republic of Venice, which all the other powers with interests on the Italian peninsula, including Louis XII, Ferdinand II, Maximilian and Pope Julius II, joined together against the League of Cambrai. Although the French were victorious against Venice at the Battle of Agnadello, the League of Cambrai soon fell apart, as both the Pope and Ferdinand II became suspicious of French intentions. Instead, the Holy League was formed, in which now all the powers joined together against Louis XII and France. In November 1511 Ferdinand II and his son-in-law King Henry VIII of England signed the Treaty of Westminster, pledging mutual aid between the two against Navarre and France ahead of the Castilian invasion of Navarre as of July 1512. After the fall of Granada in 1492, he had maneuvered for years to take over the throne of the Basque Kingdom, ruled by Queen Catherine of Navarre and King John III of Navarre, also lords of Bearn and other sizable territories of the Pyrenees and western Gascony. Ferdinand annexed Navarre first to the crown of Aragon, but later, under the pressure of Castilian noblemen, to the crown of Castile. The Holy League was generally successful in Italy as well, driving the French from Milan, which was restored to its Sforza Dukes by the peace treaty in 1513. The French were successful in reconquering Milan 2 years later. However, Ferdinand II died on January 23, 1516 in Madrigalillo, Extremadura, Kingdom of Castile and Leon. He is entombed at Capilla Real, Granada, Kingdom of Castile and Leon. Isabella I, Joanna and Philip I beside him there. Legacy and succession. Ferdinand and Isabella established a highly effective sovereignty under equal terms. They utilized a prenuptial agreement to lay down the terms. During the reign they supported each other effectively in accordance to his joint motto of equality, tanto monta, Isabella como Fernando. Isabella and Ferdinand's achievements were remarkable. Spain was united, or at least more united than it ever was. The crown power was centralized, at least in name. The Reconquista was successfully concluded. The groundwork for the most dominant military machine of the next century and a half was laid. A legal framework was created. The Church reformed. Even without the benefit of the American expansion, Spain would have been a major European power. Columbus's discoveries set the country on the course for the first modern world power. During the reign of Ferdinand and Isabella, Spain pursued alliances through marriage with Portugal, Habsburg Austria, and Burgundy. The firstborn daughter Isabella was married to Alfonso of Portugal, and the firstborn son John was married to Margaret of Austria. However, the deaths of these children, and the death of Isabella, altered the succession plan, forcing Ferdinand to yield the government of Castile to Philip of Habsburg, the husband of his second daughter Joanna. In 1502, the members of the Aragonese Cortes gathered in Zaragoza, and parliaments of the Kingdom of Valencia and the Principality of Catalonia in Barcelona, as members of the Crown of Aragon, swore an oath of loyalty to the daughter Joanna as heiress, but Alonso de Aragon, Archbishop of Saragossa, stated firmly that this oath was invalid and did not change the law of succession, which could only be done by formal legislation by the Cortes with the king. So, when King Ferdinand died on the 23rd of January 1516, his daughter Joanna inherited the crown of Aragon, and his grandson Charles became Governor-General. Nevertheless, the Flemish wished that Charles assume the royal title, and this was supported by his paternal grandfather, the Holy Roman Emperor Maximilian I, and by Pope Leo X. Consequently, after Ferdinand II's funeral on the 14th of March 1516, Charles I was proclaimed King of Castile and of Aragon jointly with his mother. Finally, the Castilian regent, Cardinal Jimenez de Cisneros, accepted the fait accompli, and the Castilian and Aragonese Cortes paid homage to him as King of Aragon jointly with his mother. Ferdinand's grandson and successor Charles was to inherit not only the Spanish lands of his maternal grandparents, but the Habsburg and Burgundian lands of his paternal family, which would make his heirs the most powerful rulers on the continent, and, with the discoveries and conquests in the Americas and elsewhere of the first truly global empire, issue. With his wife Isabella I the Catholic King Ferdinand had 7 children. Isabella, Princess of Asturias. She married first Prince Afonso, Prince of Portugal, but after his death she married his cousin Prince Manuel, the future King Emmanuel I of Portugal. She died in childbirth, delivering her son Miguel death.As, Crown Prince of both Portugal and Spain, who, in turn, died in infancy. A son miscarried on the 31st of May 1475 in Cebreros, John, Prince of Asturias. He married Margaret of Habsburg. He died of tuberculosis, and his posthumous child with Margaret was stillborn. Joanna I, Princess of Asturias, Queen of Castile, Queen of Aragon. She married Philip I, and was the mother of King Charles I of Spain. Ferdinand made her out to be mentally unstable, and she was incarcerated by her father, and then by her son, in Tordesillas for over 50 years. Her grandson, Philip II of Spain, was crowned in 1556. Maria. She married King Emmanuel I of Portugal, the widower of her elder sister Isabella, and was the mother of King John III of Portugal and of the Cardinal King Henry I of Portugal. A stillborn daughter, twin of Maria, born the 1st of July 1482 at dawn. Catalina, later known Catherine of Aragon, Queen of England. She married first Arthur, Prince of Wales, son of and heir to King Henry VII of England, and, after Prince Arthur's death, she married his brother Henry, Duke of York, who also became Prince of Wales and then King Henry VIII. She thus became Queen of England and was the mother of Queen Mary I. With his second wife, Germaine of Foix, niece of Louis XII of France, King Ferdinand had one son, John, Prince of Girona, who died hours after being born on the 3rd of May 1509. He also left several illegitimate children, with Aldonza Ruiz de Ibre y Almaini, a Catalan noblewoman of Cervera. He had Alonso de Aragon, Archbishop of Zaragoza and Viceroy of Aragon, Joanna de Aragon. She married Bernardino Fernández de Velasco, 1st Duke of Frias, with Toda de Laria, Maria Esperanza de Aragon, Abbess of Santa Maria la Real de las Huelgas. With Beatriz de Pereira, Maria Blanca de Aragon, nun at Madrigal de las Altas Torres. Ancestry, heraldry, depiction in film and television.